When we think about Shakespeare's Julius Caesar, our minds usually jump straight to the conspirators, the daggers, and Caesar himself. But what about the collateral damage? Today, we're going to dive deep into the story of one character who gets caught in the crossfire of a terrible secret, Portia, the wife of Brutus.
So let's just start with this one line, because wow, it perfectly captures her agony. I want to have a huge mountain between my heart and my tongue. Now, this isn't just her saying, I should probably keep quiet. No. This is a desperate prayer for something impossible. You can feel the absolutely crushing weight of that assassination plot in her words. It's a secret so heavy it feels like it's about to break her.
Okay, so we find Portia in a state of near total collapse. And I'm not talking about just a little case of nerves here. She is so distraught, she can barely function. We're literally watching in real time how a psychological burden can become a physical, agonizing torment. So what is tearing her apart? Well, it's this huge internal conflict she's having. She believes she has the strong, rational mind of a man, that she can understand the plot and its reasons. But she's terrified that she's also cursed with what she calls the emotional heart of a woman, something she thinks is bound to betray her and her husband. Yeah, this isn't just a passing thought for her. This is a full-blown war raging inside of her. It's a battle between her mind and her heart. And this breaks it down perfectly. You have her mind on one side, the logical part that gets the conspiracy. But then you have her heart, which is just drowning in raw, unmanageable anxiety. It's this epic clash between reason and emotion. And right now, emotion is absolutely winning. And this right here, this is her cry of desperation. It's the moment she feels completely defeated by her own nature. She has totally bought into this Roman idea that women are emotionally weak, and she's terrified that this perceived weakness is going to bring her husband's entire plan crashing down. Now, a feeling this intense, it can't stay bottled up forever, right? It has to spill out. And for Portia, her inner turmoil explodes into the real world, turning her private panic into public chaos. And we see it all through her poor servant, Lucius. Her panic basically becomes his total confusion. I mean, just listen to these instructions. They make no sense. They're not commands, they're pure panic on display. She yells at Lucius to run to the Senate, but gives him no reason. Then she tells him to come back before she's even said what he's supposed to do there. It's just a frantic, contradictory mess that shows you exactly how scrambled her thoughts have become. So what does this tell us, really? It reveals that her mind is racing with so much fear, so many what-ifs, that she can't even put together a simple, coherent thought. That secret is acting like a poison in her system, just destroying her ability to think and act rationally. And then the panic gets even worse. It actually starts to affect her senses. Her fear becomes so powerful that her brain just creates a phantom sound. She literally hears the fight she's imagining. Her anxiety is so strong it's causing hallucinations. And Lucius's calm, simple response just yanks us right back to reality. Really, madam, I can't hear anything. There is no sound. The entire battle is happening inside Portia's mind. And that contrast just drives home how completely and utterly isolated she is, trapped all alone in this terrifying world that nobody else can see or hear. So just when you think Portia's inner tension has hit its absolute peak, the scene throws in an external threat. A soothsayer, a fortune teller, shows up on the street and the whole mood shifts in an instant, from her private panic to a very public, very ominous warning. And this isn't just some random guy. The soothsayer is on a mission that is a terrifying mirror of Portia's own fears. He also senses that something terrible is about to happen, and he feels like he has to intervene. For Portia, and for us, it's this chilling confirmation that maybe her anxiety isn't so crazy after all. Now, think about this question for a second. Portia knows the harm that's intended for Caesar. She is living in absolute terror of it, but she has to ask. She's desperately fishing for any sign that her secret is safe. Or maybe, just maybe, hoping he'll tell her she's completely wrong. And this is probably the worst possible answer he could have given her. It's not a denial, it's this vague, menacing confirmation of everything she's dreading. He basically validates her terror without giving her any facts, which just ramps up her sense of impending doom to a whole new level. And the implication here is just chilling. The soothsayer isn't warning Caesar about some invading army. When you tell someone to be his own friend, you're saying the danger is coming from inside his own circle, from the very people he trusts. For Portia, hearing that must feel like a direct confirmation of her own husband's betrayal. So as the scene winds down, we're just left with this feeling of psychological torture that comes from being completely powerless. Shakespeare is showing us that the cost of a conspiracy isn't only paid by the people holding the daggers, but also by those who can do nothing but sit there and wait. In these final moments of the scene, she feels physically faint from all the stress, but her only concern is putting on a brave face for her husband. She's desperately trying to shield Brutus from the crushing weight of her own fear. And that's the tragedy of her situation, right there. The massive canyon between her reality, where she's terrified and about to collapse, and the message she sends, "Say I'm cheerful." It's just heartbreaking. It's the ultimate performance, trying to hold it all together, even as the secret is completely breaking her apart from the inside out. So we're left looking beyond the men with the daggers. This scene really shines a light on the unseen cost of history, that emotional toll on the people who know what's coming but are powerless to do anything about it. And it leaves us with a really tough question. Who really carries the true weight of a secret? The ones who act on it? Or the ones who can only stand by and wait for the terrible fallout?